And as a sanitation manager, the few programs that she had overseen include pest management, uniform cleaning, and waste disposal, all affecting the overall food safety culture of the facility. So class, please welcome our guest speaker today, Shruti Patel from Griffiths Foods.
Good afternoon, everybody. So this is actually my first time doing Career Week. I have been here as a Centennial student. I'm actually an alumni. I graduated in 2007. So I'm going to get a bit into that, but why did I decide to call this Inventing Yourself? So really what we want to, or what I would like to have you guys take away from this session today is how can you create yourself? What does that mean? That's for each of us to decide, okay? It can mean something different to each and every single one of us. How we're gonna create our career paths, how we're gonna create our lives, or whatever else that may be for you within your life. So I just have a very quick agenda here, talking about my experience. I wanna talk a bit about networking. I have an example of a student who was very persistent, and I'd like to share that with you. I kind of had her give me her experience about that. And then some of my contact information and any questions you may have. So my journey, I want to start with that. So in 2004, it was probably on the 4th floor or the 3rd floor. I had the co-op class, and my co-op coordinator there, she stood in the first session and she said, "Class, half of you probably will not be getting co-op positions." So most of my classmates, which at the time were my lab partners or my lab buddies, we used to do lab reports together. So they dropped out. They said, "No, it's okay, Shruti, we're not going to bother." I stayed on because I said, no, co-op is really important to me because I believe in it. I believe that that will open up doors for my future. And good decision because in 2005 January, I had my first co-op position at Kisco Freezies. It was 8 students that they hired. We had the co-op there. What did we do? So it was 8 of us. We had day shift and afternoon shift. And then what happened is when we went there, we realized all we're doing is volumetric measuring of freezies, right? Liquid and refractometer bricks. That's all we're doing. So okay. So one of my colleague and my lab partner after, him and I, we started doing environmental testing. We didn't even think how that would, give us the experience or how that would now reflect on our report at the end of our co-op term. But it did. It helped us because we started thinking broader. We started thinking wider, and we started inventing and creating a program that Kisco may not have already had, which they didn't at the time. But that's what we implemented, or we helped implement with the employer, working with the people, and trying to make an environmental program with the background that we already had here. We used 3M plates to actually go ahead and plate, do the environmental testing in the micro lab that they had available. So that was my first co-op, first good choice that for my career path. 2005 October, right after I finished, I had a break because, semester 4 is not available. And luckily, Griffiths Foods needed co-op. So I did 2 co-ops back to back, 8 months each. And there starts my life path, I would say, at Griffith, because I currently still am there. But with Griffith, there was a lot that I learned in those 2 years, between 2005 and 2007, until I graduated from the BioTech Industrial Microbiology program. And what I learned there is I did night shift, something that I didn't think I would ever. You don't think about it, right? But you take the chance, you take the opportunity. Why? Because those are things that will show an employer or even a company, an organization, that you can work with the least resources. Night shift, you don't have the resources that day shift has, or even afternoon shift has. You don't pick up the phone at 2 a.m. and call a manager or a supervisor. You have to make that decision on your own. That's what you can learn if you take those risks or steps, even with an off shift. Sometimes we think, okay, maybe not. And I agree, okay, it might not work with everybody, but it worked for me and my career path. 2007, 2008, there was a contract position that opened up, I took it. I raised my hand and took that. 2008, somebody left full-time. I took the full-time position, again, as a quality technologist. It was night shift, full-time then. And what did I do between 2008 and 2010? Started doing environmentals. Something, again, Griffith was doing by micro lab. I started getting cross-trained in the micro lab. I showed them that I'm involved. I want to get involved. Raising your hand is one of the biggest, I don't want to say advice, but the biggest, advice that I would say is that you could do, because by raising your hand, you're showing people that you have that interest, that you will, provide your commitment. You will give them your best. That really means a lot, and it goes for a long way. 2010 to 2011, what happened here is Griffith, before, we were ISO. We then went into BRC. Today, I'm sure a lot of you are learning about all the GFSI schemes within the food industry, right? So BRC is one of those schemes, and that's what we chose as our company. Other companies may choose FSSC, they may choose SQF, but we chose BRC. So what happened from night shift, because I had environmentals, air monitoring, pre-op inspections, we set up, all the different types of cleaning documents, started working on control documents. So at the time, my quality manager, she said, Shruti, would you like to come on day shift and start internal audits for the BRC certification? Because that's what we had to prepare for in March 2011. It was our first BRC audit. That's what I took. I took that experience. I raised my hand, or she also offered me the opportunity, came on to day shift, and did that for about a year with her. We passed the BRC certification. That was wonderful. Now went back to night shift for another 2 years. That time is when it's not that I wanted to go back to night shift. Of course you want to stay, because now you've given more experience, you've gained it, but there was no position. There was nothing that could say, okay, you do have another position out there or within the lab that they could offer me. So at the time, what I did when I went back to night shift for the 2 years is doing internal audits on nights. And I told them that okay, hey, you know what? Why not? You need night shift also, because all 3 shifts have to get audited. So a lot of times, day shift won't want to stay back or come in earlier. No problem, I'm right here. So that's how I interjected. That's how you show your commitment. Any hours, any hour of the day, I'm there, no problem. I get that it's not easy. You're deprived of sleep, you're deprived of a lot of things, but at the same time, today, 14 years after, I feel good. I'm manager, or you're at that level where you want to be, where you see yourself. For me, this is good. This is where I see myself. It depends on each one of you where you see yourself. So in 2013 to 2019, Quality Systems Auditor. And that's something, guys, that this is where I was getting at, that the position did come up. So 2010 to 2013, sure, they didn't have a Quality Systems Auditor position, but 2013, there was one. And who was right away perfect to fit right in? It was me, right? I gave my interview. It was a fair interview with everybody, but this is what everybody in industry learning. And later on, we're going to go through a few of the different examples, but a lot of things that I'm learning is that when people are telling us, prepare yourself for 3 or 5 years down the road, because when that position does open up, you're the perfect fit for it. There's nobody else but you, So during auditing, did the different control forms, training, HACCP, you name it, right? So all those different items I did in those 6 years. Then 2017, one of the HACCP coordinator, actually, she went on maternity leave. So I raised my hand again, and I said, I'd like to do that. Why HACCP coordinator? That opened up a different realm. Not that auditing didn't expose me to CFIA already, but HACCP coordinator, you were right there. I was making HACCP plans, writing FSMA, food safety plans, working with CFIA, working with exports, meat. Things that I didn't touch as an auditor, now I touched as a HACCP coordinator. These are things, right? Because the point is, with every single position, sure, it might be a year, it might be 2 years, but you're constantly learning, you're constantly creating, and you are constantly inventing your career path. 2019, so after 2018 and 19, that 1 year lag when she came back, I was, again, quality systems auditor. But in 2019, May, they promoted me to quality team leader. And that, at that point, all the co-op students and full-timers within the quality lab area reported to me. Within the 4 months, so this is just now in October 2019, I was promoted to sanitation manager. Sure, opportunities have come up. I understand that, right? The organization has opportunities. But how do you show that you're the best candidate for that? And these are the things you're already preparing from years ago. Sanitation manager, how did I become the best candidate for that? I have quality background. I have HACCP background. I have CFIA. I know all the protocols and procedures within the facility. Pest management, I was already dealing with it as an auditor as well. So as you can see, right, everything you learn through your steps within the organization that you choose to be within, it will help you with the next and following, in your career path. And it could be a year or two. Again, it doesn't have to be 14 years. Also within these years, getting certifications. So as HACCP coordinator, I was fortunate to get HACCP certified and PCQI certified, which is FSMA, so food safety plans, right? And that's huge right now because, again, we're going to get into the trends part where I want to talk to you about knowing about the food industry trends. But all of these certifications, today, internal auditor certified and BRC lead auditor certified. Just with these alone, and I just completed this in September. September 16th, I completed that. And why did I do that? So I did that because with this, that opens up a whole new avenue as well for auditing, for consulting, for working in the government, CFIA, right? Or even with FSMA, if you wanted to work with FDA, USDA, wherever that may take you. Again, to have this vast variety, it will only help us to move forward within our careers. Now I want to get into the whole networking aspect a little bit, talking about a few examples that have helped me through the way. LinkedIn. It's great because we can search by industry, by people, and by companies. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows that already, but it's a great way to get on networking. If you guys were to look me up, I'm going to show you my LinkedIn profile at the end of the presentation. You can find me. You can find others through my networking, right? It only helps. It makes it better. It makes it, you have such a big chain of people that can be available for you. LinkedIn Learning, courses. Does everyone know about this one? Yeah? Okay. Good. It's really, right? Like with the courses, with the skills, I like it. I didn't know about it until last year. So when I signed up for it, I started doing some courses, started learning. And then when I started thinking about my career path that I wanted to go into management and I wanted to actually be a leader, I started looking at those presentations and the learning plans about how to be a good leader, 7 ways of communication, different skill sets, right? Nobody's perfect. And you always constantly keep learning, you're constantly growing. And job search. I really like the job search that they have. They have a lot of jobs available. They have a lot of companies looking and a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn as well. So if you're not on it already, please, I'd suggest get on it. It's really good for your career paths, for where you see yourselves going, okay? This is one slogan. So one of our, well, actually not one of, but she's North America president, Jennifer Convery. She's at Griffiths Foods. And she came, and she always says this, your career is in your hands. And I truly believe that because it's where each one of us wants to take our lives, right? you don't need to follow anyone else's path, you're carving your own. At Centennial College, you have great networking. Here, I want to spend some time and talk to you about professors. So Parvez, he was at Kisco. He was the quality manager there, and he hired me on with the other 7 people that I told you about in 2005. So he's one of the professors that I find was really useful. When I came to school, he was here. But what I'm trying to get at is they will take you to workshops. They will take you, or introduce you. Alan Richardson, I'm sure a lot of you know him as well. He's retired now, I guess. But, he provides those opportunities. So professors are great platform to use their knowledge, their contacts, and also maybe to join them at workshops, to join them at different events that they may go to. Workshops are really good because you learn a lot of different items, especially about the industry. And we're going to get onto the next slide for trends. So workshops, college career week. I really like how the college has done this so that you get that exposure and you're utilizing these resources which are provided to you on campus itself. So continue to do that because that will only, again, help you accelerate where you see and envision yourself. For co-op, one thing I really want to suggest, so as I was telling you at Kisco, when we did that environmental, it's not that we just went to learn about the refractometer and do the volumetric measurement, but we actually were helping them and sharing our ideas about environmental testing, about locking off the tanks so that there's no food fraud or nobody is actually adulterating any of the freezies. So this is, it's thinking ahead, right? It's giving back to the company itself as well. At Griffith, it's been, so during my co-op, I'll give you an example. So there are 2 floors. We make dry blend seasonings. Mixers are on the top, takeoff floors on the bottom. That's where, so mixers are blending, they take it off at the bottom. That's 2 floors. They didn't have a form of communicating. They had phones. But phone, you got to take away the time from going from your production area to a telephone. And it's constantly ringing. So me and the quality supervisor at the time, we decided, why not try with IT to put in microphones, right? So now a microphone is much easier than actually dialing a number. And that was right outside their work area. So these are the mixing areas. And then you had a microphone here. You talk into it, press a button, you talk. They communicate downstairs. They heard you. They're talking. Excuse me. So this is the way with that microphone. It was something that we gave back at the time of my co-op. It may be the tiniest or the smallest thing ever, but it may mean something to the company, to the organization, to the lab environment. Makes it easier, makes them think, yes, this person actually is thinking outside the box and bringing ideas, not just learning from us. Because you do have ideas. You're learning a lot more within the school walls that we outside in the industry, we're within 4 walls, right? We may not know the same knowledge as much as you may. And we're all coming from different backgrounds as well. So we need to use that and leverage that to show organizations how much knowledge that we have. Industry forums and trends. I want to talk about here. So as you can see, I'm from the food industry, and that's my niche. That's where I'm really good at. But there are other industries that quality, that biotechnology can get into, such as pharmaceuticals. You can even get into cosmetics. Even there's quality assurance even for airplanes, for everything, right? Because you need to make sure that the quality of anything that we have is good. Even elevators. You would be surprised how much quality assurance we may have. But within the food industry, I can talk to few forums and trends that I know of. IFSQN, International Food Safety and Quality Network. This is a great online forum. Wonderful. A lot of people, you can learn from it. I've signed up on it. You ask questions. Industry experts are there. it's great. It's wonderful because, again, you're just bouncing off ideas. Or if you have a question, say tomorrow you start working in an organization and now you have trouble maybe trying to figure out, okay, you know what? What is the environmental program? What is the pest management program within, I don't know, any other company, XYZ? You could be on here, and within the network, they come back and they answer your questions, because everybody's on it. A lot of food safety specialists, I would say, and quality experts are on this network. And it's a good place. It's a good tool for you to bounce off ideas. Women's Food Service Forum. So I want to stress this because, again, a few years ago, which I'd say, so now 4 years ago, I really started thinking hard about my career path and where I want to see myself. And when I started thinking about management, when I started thinking about, okay, a supervisory role even, Women's Food Service Forum is great because what it did, it has basically an annual leadership conference. And luckily, again, Griffith gave us the opportunity to apply as a sponsorship program. So I wrote an essay. I was one of the 3 chosen people. We went to Orlando, Florida, and we attended the annual leadership conference within Orlando, Florida. But what I'm trying to get at is there we learned, again, we met a lot of different people from different companies, so networking was there. And then what we had there was all of the different types of leadership skills that were shared. So it was a classroom setting, and every 2 hours you'd have a class that you can attend to. So you could talk about leading from the edge. You could talk about equality. You could talk about unconscious bias. All of these things are huge within the industry. Food fraud. And we're going to talk about that, right? But these are things that, again, leaders were starting to talk about within this forum here. And it's a great tool. So here, what I learned that conference, there's about, I'd say 10,000 people or so that attend. And right in the front row, they introduced college, I think university graduates that they had there, that they brought along. Because why? It's about bringing along everyone else with us, not just who's within our industry. So for me, I found that eye-opening. It means that we are definitely moving in the right direction. Food industry trends. Trends. Know the trends within the industry that you would like to go within. So what does that mean? Food from waste. It's huge right now. Like there's basically, what we're saying is that we are going to have shortage of food within the world. So making food from waste, that's one of the trends. That's what even Griffith, we're going into that. We are combining our resources as companies to make food, edible food, from waste. There's so much byproduct that is wasted. So much pig feed that goes straight into like waste. So to change that into edible food, that's what companies are doing right now. Food, at least the food industry. Cannabis. I know Centennial is looking into, bringing out courses and to actually educate because a lot of regulations will change, a lot of those things. But these are trends. That's where the world is going towards. Food fraud. Food fraud is huge. Do you guys know a lot of the honey that you eat is not really honey? You know about that one? Yeah, okay. You heard about, in the States, microbes and environmental testing not done properly. You heard about that one as well, yeah. And that hit Kellogg's really bad, yeah. So it's your brand name, right? It's within the companies that we are in. So what happened there is that, I guess, upper management, senior management, didn't take the environmental testing seriously enough and the results seriously enough to say, no, if you do have listeria or salmonella, we need to shut down, we need to clean, or whatever that may look like. We all know about listeria, 2008 for maple leaf, and that cost lives. That actually cost lives. So what we're doing here, what we're learning at Centennial, is really important and it's actually used out in the world. You may not be in the micro lab, but you would be within quality. You could be within food safety. But it's our responsibility where all of these items and these trends are coming through for us to be knowledgeable about it and then actually make a difference within the organization that you may be with. Okay? Here, I want to talk about your vision. So, as you've heard me a little bit now, so for me, I'd be honest with you, I was not thinking about my vision, where I wanted to go. And now I've said it a couple of times already. It was about 4 years ago when I really started to think, what do I want to do? Where do I see myself? Because before that, about 8 years, I did night shift, right? I graduated, I did night shift, I was quality technologist, I was gaining all the experience, sure. But what did I see myself? Or where did I see myself? So that's something important, guys. If one thing you can take away is start thinking 5 to 10 years down the road. Because our world out there is changing completely. There's AI, which is taking jobs. Technology, it's getting bigger. I saw at Centennial downstairs you have a sleeping pod. I love it. Love the technology. But 16 years ago when I was in school, we didn't have that. Right? So these are things that we need to start thinking of. Oh, sorry. 5 to 10 years down the road, where do you see each one of your lives? And where's the world going? So that's where the trends come in. That's where all of your knowledge comes in and your vision about your lives. Creating, inventing, being different, being that only one. So what are you going to be the only one? And I like this quote. You don't want to be the best at what you do. You want to be the only one. And here on this slide, one more note that I'd like to make. Again, through my learnings, everybody throughout told me, you should have a mentor. Mentors are really good. But you know that Women's Food Service Forum that I talked to you about? That's where somebody, or one of the sessions, I took that in so well. Instead of a mentor, have a sponsor. A mentor, sure, I'm here, I can mentor you. We can help each other, give each other, bounce off ideas, again, learn from each other. But a sponsor will talk about you to upper management, will promote you, will take you to the next level. I have that sponsor at Griffith, quality manager. She's now director. She was my sponsor for sanitation manager. She spoke to everybody, to the general manager, to the VP, to HR, because everybody was thinking, is this the right choice? Of course, that's what an organization will do. They'll start thinking, right? What skills does Shruti have? What makes her different than any other candidate? But my sponsor sponsored me all the way to the top. I believe in that. That's just, again, these are my experiences, but I believe in a sponsor. I believe in a mentor as well. But start thinking about differently. I know a lot of times we hear mentorship. We hear about, coaching. We hear about all these things. But a sponsor will take you to the next level. This is the example that I was telling you guys about. So this is Tamanna Singh. She's now co-op student within Raw Materials Lab. I'm just going to talk to it. You guys can read if you like, or it's there. But Tamanna, I met her about maybe 2 years ago. And I met her the first time at UTSC Career Spark. And what they have, like a workshop similar to what Centennial has as well. So industry experts come through. So I went. She was talking to me, and one of her friends, Serene, had just finished co-op at Griffith. And she was so interested within working for Griffith. And I said, okay, no problem, Tamanna. Give me your resume, your card, all of that. So we exchanged resumes and cards and information. And then the second career spark came. She was still not called upon because that resume went to HR. She was not selected. The third career spark came, and this is every 6 months, okay? So it's an interval. The third one, finally, after talking to me, I took her resume again. I went straight to my quality manager and said, you know what I like about Tamanna is the fact that she's so persistent. I like the fact that she shows me commitment, that every single career spark she's coming through, and she's making sure she's remembering even what I told her even last time. And that could be random about anything. We talked about, the weather, or we talked about a trip, anything that could be, but she remembered that detail. That means a lot. That goes a long way. So she came in for an interview. She did not get it. So I said, okay, Tamanna, again, I met her for the 4th career spark. I asked her resume again, and 4 months later, in the raw materials quality lab, she did get an interview, and successfully now she's doing her co-op. So sometimes it takes long. It's that persistence, right? But that's what it is. It shows that commitment. It shows someone that you're going that extra mile. And that's huge. So I'd like to share my LinkedIn profile with everybody. You can find me on here. So this is actually the end of what I have, but I wanted to share with you some interview tips, because as I was telling you, there are times where I found, most recently, handshakes are not done properly. So maybe we do a dry run with Suk. Suk, I'm going to pick on you. Yes. Let's see. Hello. Nice to meet you too.
How you doing?
Perfect. Good. Good.
Thank you.
No, it's a hard handshake. What I'm finding lately is this. Everybody comes through. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? It's like you're just holding the top of, or a tip, right? So these are things that are very important. Things even about the way you're dressing, the way, of course, you're presenting. I know you've heard of this. It's nothing new, okay? Everyone knows about that. But these are the things that they matter. And I think lately, we're dropping the ball on it. It's just that it's a reminder, right? It's a quick reminder to make sure our shoes, our hair, especially women, right? It's really important. It goes a long way when we make those small changes. For sure, they don't like the red lipstick. I know I put it, but they don't. But that, again, to me, how we dress with our makeup or anything like that, that's just, it's extra, and that's fine. I don't really see me even hiring as an employer. A lot of times I don't pay too much mind to that one. I don't. What I do pay attention to are nails. Why? Because in quality lab, nail polish is not allowed. So as you can see, mine is not done well. My nails are also long. So that's something, shows hygiene, shows, proper attire. Goes a long way. One of the things about Tamanna, and maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but I'll share it. Because she had her nails nicely done. They were shellac. And that's when she came for the first time interview and she didn't get selected. That's what my quality manager said. But Shruti, her nails are so long. She has shellac. Like, is she going to do quality lab work, working with, testing samples? No. But these are things that people recognize, right? We may not. We're thinking, oh, she's going to take it off. It's not like she's going to put it on or leave it on. But this is what people think of. That's what they're noticing. So it's huge. It's big. Handshake, for sure. Our demeanor, the way we speak. Don't try to be someone you're not. Be genuine. Be who you are. That's fine. An employer doesn't look for someone like who's trying to be extra, extra smart. No, it's not the point. The point is that you're genuine, you are you, and what you're going to bring is what we're waiting for. Trust me on that. Because that's what I'm waiting for, is those fresh, bright ideas, thinking outside the box. That's what we're looking for. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. Suk, I don't mean to pick on you, but you're at Griffith. So I do want to call up, come, because I do want you to share maybe a little bit of your experience. I'd like you to talk about
I didn't prepare for
That's
this.
okay.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So my name is Sukhveer. So I started my studies at Centennial. So I'm an international student. I came from India to Canada in 2018 January. So that's when I started my Biotech Advanced Fast Track Co-op program at Centennial. So in India, you don't get the co-op program directly. And I always wanted to do a co-op. I was like, I want to do it because it's hard here. It's hard in India to get a field job, and it's more harder here because they have all the great students from all over the world here in Canada. So you can get a direct entry like in the industry, right? You need links, you need references. And in India, I didn't get the co-op program because it was not there. So I was like thinking, should I do it? Should I not? Because it costed me like $800 more. So I was like, oh, it's expensive. But then, then I was like, let's just go for it. It's just like the money will come back in future. So yeah, then I changed my program to co-op, and Adrienne was my professor for my co-op term. So I'm so happy to have her. All the things she taught me in that one term, it helped me in my interview. So I applied for like various companies. Griffith was my first company that I applied for. So I applied through eCentennial, and they got me, like, I got selected for interview. I was so nervous, oh my God, so nervous. I was like, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna give my best because it might be the only company that called me. So yeah, I had my interview, it went really good. Like, I prepared really hard for that. All the questions she gave you in the co-op program, do those, you'll be good. So yeah, my interview, so after some days, they didn't reply back to me. I was like, oh my God, I didn't get it. It's okay. So I gave another interview for co-op at Centennial for chemistry, yeah. And then that went good, but I was not sure like if I'm gonna get it. I didn't want to do my co-op at Centennial. I was like, I want to experience, because we work here during all the labs. I was like, I want to go in the industry. It was my dream, like to work in Canadian industry, because I did like 4 months job in India. So yeah, it was just 4 months. I was like, I want to go there. I want to see how they work in industries here, because I always saw like these things on Discovery Channel when I was young. I was like, oh my God, they have huge industries. It's like so pretty, like the way they produce stuff, it looks so cool. So I was like, I want to experience that. So yeah, and then Griffith, they somehow posted again. Like, they were back on eCentennial. So I went back to her. I was like, they didn't select me. They didn't tell me anything. And they posted again. Did they reject me? And they didn't tell me about it. So I'm sorry, I'm telling my whole story. I'm so excited to share it. And she was like, no, it's okay. Apply again. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So apply again. But after a couple of days, they called me back. They were like, oh, are you available? So we need your references and background check. So let us know if you're available. We'll probably hire you. And that's how I got selected there. It's a great company. My God, I love it. So because we are international, we can only do 8 months co-op. So I did my 8 months co-op, and then after that, I had summer break. So either I can do semester 6 in summer break at Centennial, or you can like go back, or you can do a summer job. So I was like, so I had really like, I'm not like bragging about myself, but I loved my job there because I have like interest in food and cooking. So Griffith has something like, if you know like about cooking, so yeah, you'll get a long way there because it's a food industry, right? So if you know what you're making there, what are your products, what your ingredients are, your raw materials are, you'll go a long way, right? So yeah, I was like, guys, please, I don't want to leave. If you have like position, please hire me for the summer. And they always hire summer students, so they were like, okay, we are fine with it. Like, we have budget, we can hire you. So yeah, I was working there another 4 months for summer job, and then after that, they gave us like this farewell party. They were like, okay, you guys are going back to school, bye, have fun, all the best. And when they brought the cake, I started saying thank you to them, and I was crying. I was like, I don't want to leave. Please hire me part-time. I don't want to go. It's such a great company. Like, you feel like you're home. People out there, like, they're so nice. I've talked to my many friends about their co-op. Nothing is better than Griffith, guys. Like, I'm not bragging about it, but it's the truth. Trust me. It's really. Yeah, I'm not promoting it. I'm not promoting it, but it's like I love it. Like, yeah, if there would be something I'll say, not because I'm afraid of truth. No, I'm not. We are good. So yeah, and so I'm doing part-time there. I hope they hire me next semester too, please. So yeah, it's really good. And co-ops are best. Please go for them. Yeah, like you get in door to the industry, and it looks really good for your resume. You learn a lot, and you build a lot of relationships there. Like so many networking, so many links. You need them, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Suk. So why I wanted her to share this with us is because Suk has been with Griffith. We interact a lot as well. But as you can see, co-op is so important. I started my journey with that. She's starting her journey. I'm sure a lot of you are within the co-op classes and doing maybe your co-ops yourselves. So just continue with that. Provide the company with, or the organization, I should say, whichever industry that may look like, what you have to offer to them. Okay? So that's what I had today. Anyone questions or anything like that? That's what I have. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, your name? Mikhail? Mikhail? Yeah, Mikhail. I like names. I like to associate, so I like to call you out like that. But Mikhail, so I would say lab skills-wise, what you're learning here, you're good. Training, it's given, okay? Quality lab, like what we started, I started working on the bench. So we were not even the micro lab at all. So micro is what we're really concentrating on here at Centennial. And a lot of times that's why when I was on nights, I was craving that. So I said, okay, I want to get cross-trained. So I do know what micro lab does. I do the training, or I am cross-trained in it. But mostly when you're starting entry level, they're training you. So the lab skills you do have, you're good. Pipetting, spectrophotometer, HPLC. So we do have an analytical section, and you have those skill sets here. You'll be using that there as well. Okay, yeah, no problem. I'd say, actually, sorry, can I add to that one? Because the skills that you would need are more interpersonal, and it's more fast-paced, a lot of environments. So it would be more of those soft skills as compared to what you're learning within the labs. That's what you've learned about. Yeah, exactly. See, she's done the work. Hi. Abigail. Yeah, yeah, sure. So HACCP actually, so NSF, look them up. They are really good. NSF GFTC, that's what they used to be before, but now they're just NSF. They provide all these trainings, these certifications. So the HACCP, I had HACCP 1 and HACCP 2, 4-day course. It's in Guelph. I stayed there, so I didn't have to travel back and forth. It's like $100 in the hotel room, whatever. And then every day, 8 to 4, the class, you get your certifications after that. PCQI is an online provided course. It was 3 days. Third day is an exam. HACCP, the second day you have an exam for the second part, okay? But PCQI, exam, you gotta pass it. There's like a passing mark of, I think, 75 or 80, something like that. But it's a 3-day online course. So that you could do anywhere in the world and you get it done, okay? I can actually, Abigail, hook me up on LinkedIn. I can share with you where I did the PCQI, because that's an online site, okay? Yeah, and I don't remember that right now. Any other questions? Yes. Sure. Sherman, yeah?
I see you, I've seen your career path that you have been jumping from one area of quality assurance to another area. And then you said that you were raising hands and that you had opportunity. How did you co-op with that? Like, it's easy to raise hand, but then at the end of the day when you know what you're doing, and then it's two different stuff.
So you're saying if I raise my hand, sorry, ask me that again.
Okay, so I see you like you going from like, for example, quality assurance to sanitization. Now
Yes.
these are the field of quality assurance, but at two different fields again.
Yes, yes.
And how did you manage with it? It was like a very short period of time.
Right, right. So to answer your question, Charmaine, actually, you know all the time that I was telling you I was actually working with different aspects of BRC certification. So in those times, I was working with the sanitation manager from 2007, 2008. He was involving me with MSDSs. He was involving me with pest control. He was involving me with training. Training was the biggest help for me, to be honest with you, because that gave me this confidence as well. You know, my high school time, I get nervous, I'm shy, you know, I don't really, not that I'm reserved, but it's just I don't like public speaking. But training helped that. So with sanitation, you know, being in front of people, training them about, so what we had two instances. We had a chemical change. We went from one type of chemical to another, and a concentration changed. He asked me to help him train. Then we had a lot of pH. So the city checks our water that comes out of our facility, and we had high pH. So he said, Shruti, I need your help. We need to train everybody as to what the environmental cause is and the effect is for people not to put product down the drains. They need to scoop it up first and then go ahead and wash it down. So all the since 2008, since I became full-time, I was constantly in touch with sanitation. We've always been interlinked. Sure, I didn't maybe order the chemicals, which I do today. I didn't look after the people in sanitation team, which I do today. Sure, those parts are different, and it is a little bit rocky right now because it's new. But the basics of it, documentation, MSS, master sanitation schedule, right? All of those maintenance, I was helping them already. So I knew, because my role as auditor even, because with the BRC, right, we have to have control documents and document control. I've been mostly the one who took care of that, even as an auditor. So we have a portal site, and we have all the documents, the pre-ops, and when I told you at night shift I did the pre-ops, so it kind of just sat with me in my lab. So as you can see, it's just, sure I don't have maybe those parts, specific parts about ordering chemicals or tools or anything like that, which I'm learning now. But other than the program-wise, I was already in touch with it. Exactly, right? So the basic was there, and I was already involved with it through quality. Even pest management, I had to follow up with the pest control company and making sure, okay, you know, okay, if there's a bird in the facility, right? How do we get them out? What are we doing? How are we reporting it? So quality, because quality is such a big job, we look over everything. The organization has to run through us. So it helped me. I already had the knowledge, just now perfecting it. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? We're good? Heidi, did you have one? Okay, good.
That was a great presentation. Thank you, Shruti, for sharing your career journey with us and providing us valuable insight on how to be successful in the food science industry. And I'm sure we had a lot of takeaways today, right? And just to summarize some of them, it's, if you can remember, raising your hand or taking the initiative, right? You remember that? And also having a plan. Perhaps it could be having a mentor or being in the co-op program or finding a sponsor, right? And also it's taking that first impression and for it, as simple as that firm handshake and how to prepare for the interview. So that was very valuable. And thank you, Suki, for also sharing your co-op experience with us, right? On behalf of Centennial College, I would just like to give you this token of appreciation today. And thank you so much, class, for coming today. And we have 5 more minutes. Help yourself with some refreshments on your way. And before I go, Adrian wants to say something. We want to make sure we capture that, otherwise you'll be doing pantomime.
I just wanted to let you know that where Judy went to Kisco, I don't know if you know this, but Steve Bouladakis, who is the chair of the ABES department, actually did the same thing that you did. He waited out everybody on his co-op work term. He got the job at Kisco, and he's now the chair of your department. Okay, so Kisco was a great starting point for a lot of people. I just wanted to let you know that. And then also one more thing, as you talked about at Griffith, it's a food science company. If you're interested in food science, please know how to cook. It's common sense, but if you don't know how an egg is supposed to look or taste like or smell like, how can you do that? Pardon me? Yeah. You need to learn how to cook or know how to cook, what ingredients, what spices go with what. So if you don't have any of that exposure, go watch some of that Food Network and get those ideas from there.
Thank you, Adrienne. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you for coming. And please, just a reminder to please make sure that you provide us your feedback at the end. Okay, take care. Thank you so much.